All right, my goal is to record this video in 15 minutes or less, since that's our limit for videos on ScreenPal right now. All right, a reflection across the y-axis is going to change the sign on the x. So we'll have negative 5, 3. You could plot it and figure it out that way as well. All right, here we're going to translate each of these to the left 2 and up 5. So add negative 2 to the x value, add 5 to the y value. Add negative 2 to the x value, and add 5 to the y value. Add negative 2 to the x value, and add 5 to the y value. All right, here we have all three sides, and so I'm either going to say yes by side, 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 or I'm going to say not similar. So let's set up an extended proportion to see if these are similar. So we got 1.8, 1.8, and 2.4. I just chose to let the small fraction be on top, and then the big fraction is going to be on the bottom. And those side lengths in order from least to greatest are 2.4, 2.4, and 3.2. Now the question is, are these equal? Well, obviously the first two are equal because they're the exact same numbers. So come over here and decide if these are equal. Lots of different ways you can do it. One way is to cross multiply. 3.2 times 1.8 gives us 5.76. And then we could do 2.4 times 2.4. We also get 5.76. So these are in fact equal. So the triangles are similar by side, side, side. All right, most obvious proportion to me is 6 is to 9 is 5 is to x. We can cross multiply. We'll have 6x on one side and 45 on the other side. To get rid of multiplying by 6, we'll divide by 6 on each side. When we do that, we should get 7.5. All right, we've got similar triangles, and our goal is to find PR, so I'll call that x. So we could say 4 is to 4.5 as 6 is to x. Notice I'm consistent as I set up the proportion. Cross multiply, you'll have 4x on one side and 27 on the other side. Divide by 4. And so x is 6.75. Oh, and that's PR. All right, here we're doing dilation, scale factor of 0.5, so multiply every coordinate by 0.5, or you could say 1/2. So you get 2.50, and then negative 5, and negative 1. Just multiplying every coordinate by that scale factor of 0.5. All right, we got some vertical angles, and so we have enough for side angle side. All right, wanting to use angle side angle, well, we have angle K and angle O are congruent. That's a pair of angles. Then we have angle J and angle N congruent. That's a pair of angles. We need the sides in between them, so it's going to be segment JK must be congruent to segment NO. That would allow us to use angle side angle. Two angles and the included sides. All right, we've got some segments that are congruent, so their measures are equal. Two-step equation from here, add 6. So we get 3x equal to 15. To get rid of multiplying by 3, we'll divide by 3. And so x is 5. In a triangle, if two sides are congruent, then the angles across from them must be congruent, and so y must be 29. All right, angle I corresponds to angle O, so those must be congruent in these congruent triangles. Opposite sides must be parallel, so we'll rise 2, 3, 4, run 1, rise 4, run 1. I did not do that. I rose 3. My bad. Rise 4, run 1. All right. Hopefully, I would catch it as I draw it. So I would go ahead and connect these to make sure that they appear to be parallel. In a parallelogram, opposite angles are congruent, so we can say 7x minus 11 equals 5x plus 29. We can subtract 5x from each side. We'll have 2x minus 11 equals 29. Classic two-step equation from here. Add 11, we get 40, and then divide by 2 to get rid of multiplying by 2. And so x is 20. We can do the same type of thing for y, so these opposite angles are congruent. So 5y minus 9 equals 3y plus 15. We can subtract 3y from each side. We get 2y minus 9 equals 15. Two-step equation from here. We can add 9, we get 24. So 2y equals 24, divide by 2, and we get y equal to 12. You can plug those back in to make sure that they work. In a parallelogram, opposite sides are congruent as well as the opposite angles being congruent like we saw in the last one. So we can say 2x minus 8 equals x plus 16. To get rid of the x that's on the right side, we'll subtract x. We get x minus 8 equals 16. To get rid of minus 8, we'll add 8, and we get 24 for the value of x. For y, we can do the same type of thing. Opposite sides are congruent, so 2y equals y plus 19. Subtract y, and we get y equal to 19. You can plug them in to make sure that they work. Midsegment in a trapezoid is equal to the average of the bases. So if we add 7 and 12 together, we get 19. And if we do 19 divided by 2, we get 9.5. We can put it in to make sure it works. It's 2.5 away from the small base and 2.5 away from the big base. So it does work. Side across from the right angle is your hypotenuse. So that's the unknown here. So 15 squared, 15 times 15 is 225, 20 times 20 is 400. If we add them together, we're at x squared equal to 625. Feel free to pause the video at any point if you need to. To get rid of squared, we'll square root, and so we get 25 for the value of x for the hypotenuse. Cosine of an angle and the sine of its complement are the same, so let's do 90 minus 17, and so we get 73 degrees. You can plug those into your calculator to make sure that they come out the same decimal value. Let's remember what we need to on this 30, 60, 90. Across from the 30-degree angle is your short leg. Your long leg is the short leg times root 3, and then the hypotenuse is the short leg times 2. So here's where our equation can come from. 2x equals 18. Divide by 2, and x equals 9. If we plug that back in, we'll see that 9 root 3, 9 times the square root of 3, is your long leg, the value of y. All right, we're looking for the measure of angle B here. We have the opposite side, we have the adjacent side, and so we'll use tangent. So tangent of angle B is equal to 5/8, or 5/8. If we're looking for the angle and we have the tangent, we'll do the inverse tangent. So we'll go to our calculator. Most calculators, it's second or shift tangent. And then you'll put 5 divided by 8, or 5/8. So just to round to the nearest tenth of a degree, we get about 32.0 for the measure of angle B. Putting that 0.0 just confirms that we did, in fact, round it to the nearest tenth. All right, we've got a right angle here. We've got, from the angle 10, we've got the opposite, and we have the hypotenuse. So we use the sine. Sine of 10 degrees is equal to 40 over x. Now to get rid of division by x, let's multiply by x. And then to get rid of multiplying by the sine of 10 degrees, we will divide both sides by the sine of 10 degrees. That gets the x by itself. So we're going to our calculator with 40 divided by the sine of 10 degrees. If your calculator doesn't like it as a fraction, do division. It's just around to the nearest hundredth, and so we get about 230.35. If the diameter is 6, then that means the radius is half of that, 3. So we're going to label our points as h and k. In the circle formula, we'll have x minus h, parentheses squared, plus y minus k, parentheses squared, equal to r squared. So if we substitute into this, we see x minus a negative 6 squared, and then in parentheses y minus 10 squared, equal to the radius squared. We're going to take care of the minus negative here and rewrite it as x plus 6. And then we'll also square the 3, the radius. 3 times 3 is 9. So here's our equation in standard form for the equation of the circle with a center at negative 6, 10, and diameter of 6. Because these are, because AB is a tangent, we know that's a right angle there. AB is 16, OA is 12, find OB. So we're looking for the hypotenuse in this right triangle. So x squared equals 12 squared plus 16 squared. Squared to those, you'll have 256 plus 144, which gives us 400 equal to x squared. And to get rid of squared, we'll square root. Only a positive answer makes sense here, and so we get x equal to 20. And so OB is what we're looking for. It's 20. All right, I know that these two segments are congruent because they're tangent to the same circle and they share an endpoint. But I also know that these two are congruent. And so if we take away the 7 part of this, 12 minus 7 gives us 5 for the other part. And so JK must be 5, which means X must be 5. When we have chords intersecting inside of a circle, the product of the chord segments, so like 10 times X, equals 4 times 8. So we get 32 equal to 10x. To get rid of multiply by 10, divide by 10, and we get x as 3.2. We did not end up having to round there. All right, they tell us up here that CL and CM are equal, so those segments are congruent. If those segments are congruent, then the chords that go to them are congruent. So we can say 5x plus 8 is equal to 15x minus 32. Now let's subtract 5x from each side. We get 10x. Then we have a two-step equation from here. To get rid of minus 32, we'll add 32 and get 40 on the other side. And so 40 equals 10x. To get rid of multiplying by 10, we'll divide by 10, and so x is 4. It says to find XL, which is a half one of those segments. So I'm going to plug this in. We get 4 times 5 is 28. So xy equals 28, half of 28 is 14, and so XL is 14. Again, I took that full chord segment and split it in half. AD and AB are both tangent to the circle. Since those are tangent and they share a common endpoint, they will be congruent to each other. And so we'll write x plus 4 equals 20. And then we'll subtract 4, and so we get x equal to 16. I will not have you have to mention that property, but we did have to use it to find the value of x. All right, so hopefully this is helping you prepare for your final exam.